Electronic Arts' struggles outside of their sports games has been a notable problem for the last number of years. It feels like in the last 5 years, almost every EA non-sports game has either been incomplete or unfinished at release, or hit with tons of controversy, or achieved lower than expected sales. The only game that I can think of in the last number of years that really didn't have any big problems and was successful in terms of sales and reception is Battlefield 1. But other than that, it's just been a gigantic mess. Electronic Arts' fixation on games as a service or live service games has been the crux of the problem. The EA executives truly believe and want all of their big non-sports games to duplicate the success that FIFA and Madden Ultimate Team have achieved, which has made Electronic Arts billions of dollars in profit. Although up to this point there have been zero success stories to show with these live service games. In 2017, EA tried turning Star Wars Battlefront 2 into Star Wars Ultimate Team, but that thankfully backfired big time, and we're actually still dealing with the aftermath of that chaos, but here in 2019 the script has not changed at all. Recent EA non-sports releases like Anthem, Apex Legends, and Battlefield 5 have been facing trouble and controversy. That actually is what we're going to be discussing today, because each of EA's recent big live service games have suffered problems that could cost Electronic Arts billions. But before we get to that, if you have not already, make sure to consider subscribing for all the latest gaming news, and also turn on notifications so you don't miss out on any content. Nonetheless, let's start by talking about the most controversial game of 2019, and that is BioWare's Anthem, a game that had a chaotic development and has really been chaotic since it released, to very mediocre reviews and sales. The last time we talked about this game was when it was announced by BioWare that all major post-launch content like Cataclysms was indefinitely delayed. That was just over a month ago. Since then, BioWare's head of live services Chad Robertson revealed in early May that they were fully committed to Anthem and would not be giving updates to new content until they were near completion. The explanation of why they were now doing this was to make sure they were not over-promising. Anyway, even with that statement, many players were expecting at the very least some activity from BioWare on official channels, indicating that new content, was progressing. Previously, back in late April, Anthem's community manager Jesse Anderson had indicated that communication would be improving. He stated at the time, "Moving forward, I should be able to talk more though. It might not always be about future content for Anthem, but I can talk about what just has been released, what's about to release, and issues the team is aware of and are fixing/investigating." For the last month, BioWare pretty much has just gone dark, which I guess they finally decided to take a note out of the No Man's Sky Hello Games mess that happened a few years ago, but the player base that is left is upset with this decision because BioWare literally laid out a roadmap that should have realistically been delivered day one, delayed it last month, and just kind of disappeared, promising an update when the content is near, which nobody has an idea on when that will be. I will note that on the long list of takes that aged poorly with Anthem from a BioWare developer, we have another comment to add. Now, the official Twitter account of Anthem has not posted for over a month. I mean, isn't the point of live service games to be actively listening and talking to players? I understand BioWare doesn't want to talk new content, but I just find it very strange 2 months after launch and tons of controversy, they decided now was the time to go dark and ghost the community. On top of that, even if there is good new content coming, who knows if there will be a player base left to experience any of it. I say that because, as we all expected, Anthem failed to meet EA's sales expectations, which was between 5 to 6 million copies, with some leaks and estimates claiming that the game sold under 4 million copies. Earlier this month, EA CEO Andrew Wilson told investors when announcing this bad news that the team is now very focused on continued improvements to the game and will then bring more content updates and in-game events that will enhance and expand the Anthem experience. We believe in the team at BioWare, and we also believe in what they set out to achieve with this game, building a new IP and melding genres to reach a new audience. So the issue with that statement is that it's pretty much BS. As one Reddit user pointed out in May 2017, months after Mass Effect Andromeda launched, Andrew Wilson told investors at the time, "So we're very happy with kind of how BioWare's doing, how BioWare's treating Mass Effect, and our expectations for Mass Effect are still strong for the future and the franchise overall. And we chose to give the team some more time to deliver against that innovation because we believe players are looking for the kinds of things that we plan to put into that game. And so we're very happy with BioWare. BioWare has continued to support Mass Effect, and the new team is doing some amazing things, and you'll hear more about that in the months to come." One day after Andrew Wilson made these remarks, it was revealed by Kotaku that Mass Effect was being put on hiatus and BioWare Montreal was being downsized. We also later found out that Mass Effect Andromeda's DLC plans were scrapped. The point I'm trying to make is you cannot trust what Electronic Arts says publicly, because behind the scenes you have to wonder if they are ready to pull the plug or take more resources off on Anthem. The only real difference between Mass Effect Andromeda and Anthem is the fact that Anthem is a live service game, which maybe Electronic Arts is willing to keep things going a little longer because of the potential of new monetization opportunities that can be implemented if things start improving. But again, when I say things have gotten worse, I truly mean it. Besides Anthem's players voicing their frustrations on the game's subreddit, Twitch viewership is nearly non-existent now. The game's price has significantly dropped at GameStop, with the premium edition now selling for the same price as the standard one. There was another loot debacle just 2 weeks ago, and the game has fallen outside of the top 49 played Xbox games, meaning there's less than 2,500 players left playing the game on the Xbox One. There's also been some other rather interesting rumors emerging, like MMOG Fails claims to have a BioWare source that says that the studio has considered making the game free to play. The source additionally has said that BioWare leadership has blamed the negativity created by players as a reason why the game sold poorly, and just the other day there was some other really head-scratching claims made. Like MMOG Fails claims that BioWare leadership is unhappy with the Onion articles. They feel the game is being mocked unjustly, which this actually would make some sense, as Kotaku reported that BioWare leadership wanted this game to be unmemeable. Guess they didn't like the Mass Effect Andromeda joke.
To who? To whom? And your goddamn father. Sorry, my face is tired.
But yeah, a lot of people were taking these Onion articles seriously, not knowing this is a satire website, but honestly at this point, some of these jokes are pretty darn believable. Now, it was also claimed that BioWare leadership thinks not talking about Anthem is working wonders, as negative comments about the game have decreased across all forms of social media. Leadership also thinks that everything the Kotaku article exposed can be fixed with team building exercises and events, which again, treat this as a rumor, but none of this is hard to believe. If BioWare tries treating Dragon Age 4 like Anthem or Mass Effect Andromeda or even Inquisition, which also had a horrendous development, I really have trouble seeing a future for BioWare. The magic has worn off. A game like Fallout 76 endured even more backlash and controversy, but was able to, at the very least, keep its loyal supporters happy with lots of new content. BioWare has not been able to do that with Anthem, and right now there's actually quite a few players declaring this dead. Honestly, I really have no idea if this game could ever make a huge comeback, but right now with all the problems facing it, it's difficult thinking that a bright future is ahead. Finally though, I do want to move on and discuss the decline of Apex Legends. Respawn Entertainment's surprise hit free-to-play battle royale game that launched back in early February. In its debut month, we know Respawn spent big bucks to get top streamers to play and promote the game, and it worked. Apex Legends blew up, with many saying this was the next big thing that would directly take on Fortnite. At least in the investor world, many viewed it as the savior for Electronic Arts that could bring in billions of dollars in profit, and unfortunately in the last 2 months Apex Legends has drastically cooled off. It was reported in its debut month the game made $92 million, almost the same amount that Anthem, a full-price game, achieved. But it's being reported by Super Data Research that in April, Apex Legends only generated $24 million, down significantly for the second month in a row. Monthly revenue now sits at just over 1/4 of the launch month sales from February. Interest in Apex Legends has been falling for a while now. The first Battle Pass didn't receive a very positive reception, and Respawn has committed to only seasonal updates. It seems that many of these games as a service have a similar problem, that is overworking developers. Games like Fortnite have been accused of using these practices to get content out fast at the cost of the health of the developers. Respawn has decided not to do that, something I actually respect, but it does come at the cost of losing players and potential profit. Either way, even with Apex Legends earnings tanking, this is still one of the more enjoyable battle royale games on the market that could easily bring players back with unique updates in the future, even with them being seasonal. But I do think expectations are becoming much more realistic, understanding that while this has been popular, it's likely never going to achieve the success that Fortnite and PUBG have achieved. Lastly though, we move on to Battlefield 5, another game that was riddled in controversy right when it was first revealed. Like Anthem, Battlefield 5 also failed to meet sales expectations, and EA had a ton of excuses for why it underperformed, although they not surprisingly downplayed the divisive marketing, which really plagued the game from the get-go. But in recent months, opinions on this live service experience have been very divisive, with many upset with the game's new microtransactions, and recent incidents like the pit crew debacle certainly just make things worse. Also, for those unaware of the situation, there was a cosmetic set Pit Crew added to Battlefield 5, and you could purchase this set with Battlefield 5's in-game currency, but sometime recently this set was removed and the set's cost changed exclusively to the premium currency. Many players were upset because they had been grinding to complete this set, but now can't finish it without opening their wallets. Other than just that, there's been criticism thrown at DICE for the amount of premium currency only cosmetics added to the game. So yeah, like any of these live service games, the microtransactions, not that great. But also something that seems to be an issue with these types of games is fulfilling promised features. Activision's Black Ops 4 has come under fire for not delivering on various promised features, like zombie factions. Anthem's big content Cataclysms that was teased all the way back at E3 2017 still is not even in the game, and Battlefield 5 is also missing a heavily advertised feature, this being the soldier dragging mechanic that I guess DICE just decided to cancel recently. Furthermore, Battlefield 5's biggest piece of post-launch content, the Battle Royale mode Firestorm, appears to be struggling, with EA recently deciding to remove duos matchmaking because nobody is playing it. And also, some players residing in New Zealand and Australia have said the game mode is pretty much unplayable because the low ping range to DICE's own servers is terrible. When we talk about EA's ongoing never-ending crisis with their non-sports games, it's important to emphasize the fact that these problems are happening because these games are live services. This is not just an issue connected to Electronic Arts, but many other publishers, who feel like it's in their best interest to launch games unfinished, loaded with greedy microtransactions, and a promise to fix the game later. Although what that really means is if enough players stick with the game and are spending money, they will eventually fix it and deliver on what was originally advertised and promised, although even that's not guaranteed to always happen. Electronic Arts has built their business off of unsustainable greed, and what that means for consumers and even the developers working at EA is more trouble in the future. Earlier this year, EA fired a few hundred employees and shut down a few studios. If FIFA Ultimate Team, EA's cash cow, starts to tumble, or if loot boxes do get banned by the US government, there will be even more pressure on these EA-owned studios to deliver, and if they don't, many jobs will be lost. So the ongoing failures of paid live service games like Anthem and Battlefield 5 just paint a larger issue. EA must consistently show growth, that's the only thing investors care about, and if that does not happen, there's going to be real chaos. But for right now, Apex Legends' expectations are coming back to reality, Anthem is nearly abandoned with new content likely coming next month, but who knows if anyone will return, and Battlefield 5's Firestorm is struggling. At E3 2019, these live service games will benefit with announcements for upcoming content, and it'll be interesting to see if these games can bring players back. Anyway, what is your opinion on Anthem, Apex Legends, and Battlefield 5? Which game do you think deserves a resurgence the most? Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below, but thank you for watching. Make sure to leave a like if you did enjoy this video or found any informative value, and make sure to follow my other social media accounts for updates on new videos. Links are always down in the description below. I'm most active on Twitter, giving opinions on news that I do not always get into video form, so make sure to follow me over there. Also check out my Discord for all sorts of discussion on games, and again, thank you for joining, consider subscribing for more videos like this, and I'll see you later.